I'm Amy Cherry. This local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota, here to wow ya. One person was killed and 2 others critically injured in a crash over the Thanksgiving weekend in Palm Coast. John Arking reports.
A 3-vehicle crash on the I-95 overpass over State Road 100 in Palm Coast at about 1 p.m. Saturday killed 62-year-old Cynthia Clark of Atlantic Beach, while 51-year-old Kimberly Clark and 17-year-old Jaden Pagoria, both of Drexel Hill, Pennsylvania, were critically injured. All 3 were passengers in a 2016 GMC Acadia being driven by 41-year-old Danielle Hughes, also of Drexel Hill, when, according to the Florida Highway Patrol, she stopped directly in front of a van, which then rear-ended her vehicle. However, the reason she was at a standstill is still not known. All 3 victims were taken by either ambulance or medevac helicopters to the hospital. The evacuation and investigation forced the closure of all northbound lanes of I-95 for an hour, creating a major traffic backup. The cause of the crash remains under investigation. The Florida Highway Patrol was assisted at the scene by Flagler County Fire Rescue, the Palm Coast Fire Department, and the Palm Coast Fire Police. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm John Arking.
This portion of Flagler's Morning News brought to you by the Daytona Beach International Airport, Delta Airlines nonstop to Atlanta, and now nonstop service to New York City via American Airlines.
A Palm Coast man attempts suicide by cop on Thanksgiving. Tony Magoo has the details.
On November 26th, the Flagler County Sheriff's Office responded to a domestic disturbance call at 220 Aces Circle in Palm Coast. When deputies arrived at the home, the victim told them that her son, Craig Duggan, 48, had been drinking and instigated an argument with her that became physical. Duggan threw her down twice, broke her phones, and told her that he wanted the police to come and shoot him. The victim went to a neighbor's house to call 911. Deputies repeatedly asked Duggan to come to the front door and saw that Duggan was carrying a large knife. He was also drinking whiskey heavily and picked up yet another knife. He eventually opened the door, but then started fighting with law enforcement and attempted to grab a deputy's gun while he was on the ground. He was handcuffed and taken into custody. Duggan was transported to Advent Health for evaluation, and while there, he became uncooperative with hospital staff and refused medical care. He was released and transported to the Sheriff Perry Hall Inmate Detention Facility, where he's being held on no bond. For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Tony Magoo.
A pilot trainee makes a dramatic emergency landing near Espanola. The 27-year-old student at Sunrise Aviation Flight School in Ormond Beach managed to avoid power lines and cars when he put the single-engine plane down on County Road 205 on his way back from Gainesville Wednesday, one of the busiest travel days of the year. Pilot Abdullah Khawaja wasn't injured in the crash and no one on the ground was hurt. The plane didn't sustain any damage either, though engine troubles, whether mechanical or fuel-related, remain under investigation. Khawaja called the whole ordeal pretty scary, but credits his training for knowing what to do. A former pilot who was the same age and from the same school wasn't so lucky. The Saudi Arabia man and his elderly flight instructor from Ormond Beach were both killed in 2017 when their plane crashed in waters south of St. Augustine.
What can a job help you achieve?
Robin King, the president and CEO of CareerSource Flagler Volusia, says you can achieve anything.
I don't think that there's anything that helps a person achieve what they want more than employment, a job, that career.
King said that part of the working age population here is not working because they're raising children or they're doing something else. She said that those skills can become a job. King said that young parents, former prisoners, those who are not as able to work as others, are all in a workforce that employers may not have considered hiring before. King said that her mission is to see that everyone has a job. To listen to the interview, download the Flagler radio app and then go to the Free for All Friday podcast. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm Deb Albertson.
And now you're up to date on Flagler's Morning News. I'm Amy Cherry.